to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Tonight's agenda, we have a COVID-19 update, discussion on a DPW salt shed, request for proposals, an LED streetlight request for proposal, discussion for DPW front end loader, other new and old business, and then we have a non-public session. So, Scott, can you start us with the COVID-19 update?
Sure. This week was kind of a light week. The governor only issued 3 emergency orders. And basically, emergency order 28 just deals with his request for homeless shelters to start to find ways to isolate the homeless, to segregate them out from the others if they suspect that they may be infected with the virus. And also looking for ways to reduce the number of people that are in homeless shelters in general, just because of the social distancing aspects of it. And the other part of that emergency order is really just bringing awareness to the temporary housing needs for first responders that may have been exposed through the course of their duties and cannot return to their own household, to their own families, for risk of infecting them. So there have been facilities set up around the state where first responders can be housed temporarily while they're suspected of potentially being exposed. And this executive order just kind of reinforces and expands that program. Executive order, or emergency order number 29, basically is requesting input from state agencies around deadlines, regulatory deadlines. And we've already had some relief at our level on deadlines, so that they aren't quite as hard and fast as they normally would be. And they're trying to do the same thing for state agencies, trying to understand what impact that may have on certain agencies. So the governor is looking for input from those agencies so he can perhaps modify those emergency orders to accommodate that. And the last emergency order that was issued in the past week was around alternate care sites. And basically, and you've seen this in some other states, where they're setting up large facilities, whether it be schools or arenas, and they're turning them into temporary hospitals to accommodate folks. And this emergency order basically deals with that, if there's going to be a need to expand those sites. And I think there is some concern right now that New Hampshire probably hasn't quite hit the peak. We're still waiting to see what the numbers are going to turn out to be, but there is a concern that we might actually see more test results coming back positive than we obviously like to see. And that's pretty much it. I mean, locally here in the office, we're trying to practice good social distancing skills, and so far everybody is stayed healthy, and nobody has come back positive that has been tested. So we're in pretty good shape right now, and hope it continues.
How are we doing with our first responders, police and fire? Any issues with concerns?
No concerns right now.
PPE, they have what they need?
They seem to have what they need right now.
Good.
And we'll hopefully, before we get to a situation where we start to run low, that we'll be beyond this crisis. But that I think that'll give us an opportunity to sit down, especially now that we have the new emergency management director coming on, and decide what we need to do to restock and prepare for the next event, whatever that may be.
Not quite getting off the COVID-19, but since you brought it up, and I thought it would be on the new business or old new businesses,
Yeah.
have we received confirmation of acceptance of the offer for the EMD?
So we haven't, other than emails and a verbal, she's waiting to get one piece notarized for her background information request, and then she's gonna be dropping everything in the mail to me, hopefully within the next day or two.
But verbally, she's
Accepted.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's good news. DPW salt shed RFP.
Right, so this is a little further along. I spent most of the week trying to go through this, and this document came, essentially the original specs came from one of the vendors that might be bidding on it. So I tried to make this so that it allowed for other vendors to offer alternatives, and if they are gonna offer alternatives, that they can demonstrate that whatever they're proposing is gonna be a similar or better quality, and be able to provide us the data on whatever the alternatives that they might present are. I'm still working on the final terms and conditions for this, and in constructing the actual bid form that the vendors are gonna fill out. And then I wanna run those terms and conditions past Primex, just to make sure we've covered all our bets from a insurance and liability standpoint on this. And then it should be ready to go.
Well, you forwarded that to me for comments, which I thought we were gonna discuss this
Okay.
evening,
Yep.
so if you wanna
Yep, we can do
do
that as well.
that, we can.
Yep.
And, if you want, I can forward you these here, my notes are right on the document.
Okay.
But that was my first question, is why we referencing ClearSpan as the basis of the design, and do we know that their product is the one that we wanna use as the basis of design? Because as I'm further down when we go through this, I've noticed that the fabric that they were proposing was a 12.5 ounce fabric, which is a light fabric. And if this is something we're looking for, longer durability, we should be asking for it up front. Or I think as we go along here, I may have suggested that we have them price it as an alternate. But I would rather, if we're going to do this, that we do it right, that we don't get a light duty fabric on a structure that, lasts short term. And Peter, the size of the building, the 52 by 50, how is that determined?
That's what I was planning on since the beginning.
But let me rephrase the question. When the blocks are set for the foundation for this, is that those the dimensions of the outside of the block, the center of the block? What are we using
Center
for
of the
block? Because
You-
blocks come in different sizes.
Yeah, you use 6 2 by 3 by 2. 6 2 3. 3 wide, 2 thick, 6 long.
Okay, so they're 3 feet wide.
Yeah.
Because with these dimensions, the 3 feet doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I was looking at pricing, somebody had it online, and the 3 feet wide blocks are actually they're actually they're 3 feet wide to be tall, and they were, I think, price per square foot worked out that it was less than buying the 2x4s. But when I was trying to do a layout of it, I'm saying, you know, if you're working with modules of 2 feet, the 3 feet doesn't really work. So somehow I think in this RFP, we should be telling them what we're doing for a foundation and what the dimensions, whether it's the out-to-out, center line, whatever. Yeah, that was in 1.4. Actually, the blocks I was looking at, Peter, were 3 by 3 by 4. And those were more economical than the 2 by 2 by 4. And I thought, well, if you did 2 blocks high, that gives you 6 feet. But further along, I read an 8-foot height. Is that what you need, is the 8-foot height?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think of,
Because I was looking to keep away from the structure with material and
yeah.
the loader, so that's
Yeah.
why I figured I'd go 8 feet high with the blocks.
So, are you planning to pin these blocks together?
I was gonna drill them and.
Drill and pin?
Yeah.
Okay. Dimensions, okay, that we just did.
See, the pad out here is 60 by 60, so we've got plenty of room. When I paved it 60 by 60 pad.
See, I was thinking that you were gonna dig where you put the blocks and just fill it with crushed stone and set the blocks on the crushed
I
stone.
was gonna set the blocks right on the pavement, and I was gonna backfill, backside of the blocks with fill,
Okay,
that way we don't push the blocks.
yeah. I was thinking the crushed stone just to, keep it from heaving, but if,
I figured if they're sitting on pavement, they shouldn't heave, because I got 2 feet of gravel and a foot of
Under
grass
it?
underneath that.
yeah, okay. What do you need for the clear span height
Not
under
for-
2.14? It says the interior of the structure below the main truss shall be clear span, free of any structural support members, and shall provide unobstructed floor space. Thinking if you need a certain height,
At least 30 feet.
something just,
Well, I figured with an 8-foot
Yep.
wall on each side, that clear span should be more than high enough.
okay,
Because it'd be tractor trailers dumping in there. The only thing I need it for is salt. The rest of the sand will be dumping in with our own trucks, but the salt can,
and are you gonna mix it inside there?
oh yeah, we're gonna load and mix inside,
Inside?
yes.
Okay, yep. Required. There was mention in here about wall louvers, which I'm assuming is to get rid of static pressure within the building.
Yeah,
But we're letting them know what size louvers to provide. I would think that that would be up to them.
well, yeah, we can put in there a suitable louver system.
Yeah, it's up to their engineering to provide the sizes.
It's basically let the air and the wind go through so it doesn't.
Blow out the back end, yeah. On 2.1.7 is where it says the building to be engineered to 80 pounds square foot ground snow load at 90 mile an hour, 3-second gusts. See section 2.4 and 2.4.3. I think in there we should put in, you know, just that they're required to design it in accordance with the 2015 IBC State of New Hampshire Code and Fire Marshal Code. Just let, I think most of that information comes from there.
Yeah.
Is there, I'm not aware of any electrical or mechanical systems going in there. So there's a section here that references for them to provide the engineering to support it. So I think that can
I
go.
guess that was sometime in the future, whoever, maybe they wanted to put a light or something. But that
Yeah, but a light fixture's one thing, putting a Modine heater or something,
Yeah.
and I don't see that we ever,
No.
yeah. And again, it gets into ancillary, systems, HVAC, sprinklers,
Yeah.
like, I think that should,
Just eliminate those?
yeah, yeah.
So both the mechanical equipment and the ancillary systems?
Yeah, and the next one down that talks about applying metal cladding in the future to the structure. I think that should go. One thing you stumped me on, it says 50-foot RK wide by 52-foot RK gable style building. I have no idea what RK is. Oh, okay. I don't know if it's just supposed to say 50 by 52 foot.
That's,
And we have no doors.
no.
There's reference for doors, but if that can get. And they talk about a base skirt. Is that something we need? I'm thinking a base skirt would be if you were mounting it right on the ground.
Just something that goes over the blocks, so any water that comes off
Go on the
Okay.
outside.
will come in and meet the frame.
Okay.
That's basically what that is. Any rain that comes off, when it go off the side of the blocks, not on the blocks, will seeps in.
Well, that's why I was asking where you're gonna locate the blocks, and I'm thinking it would be best to have the shelter landing on the outside
Yeah.
face of the block, so that it just
Yeah.
continues its path to your
Yeah.
backfill. 2.3.7 references, they're to provide drawings and calculations acceptable to the architect and engineer of record. I think that should just go to the town. And then under, operation and use, it references, a minimum of 15-year operational use period. But yet up in section 2.1, it asks for a 50-year frame warranty and a 20-year
Whatever.
fabric. So I think we gotta get these all on the same page. Stack blocks. And
So
then
instead of 15-year, why don't we have 50?
I know you reference you used from a guideline from them,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it's
whatever the
a
guideline is, that we make sure it all, cause again, under 2.6.2, it references a 15-year warranty
Yeah.
on the fabric. So one area had 15, another was 20.
You know, 50 years on the frame and 20 year on the fabric, right?
Yeah, but they were somewhere else where they,
Under 2.5.1, it talks about a minimum of a 15-year operational use period for the frame. And then at 2.6.2 is where I raised the comment about why are we specifying a 12-ounce fabric where they have a heavier product. And it would provide a long-term use. And whether or not you think it's wise just to ask for an ad alternate to use the heavier fabric.
See what
But I
the
think,
difference is.
you know, if we're looking for this thing to last,
Mhm.
it should be,
so you want 18 ounce?
well, actually, their product,
You're saying 12.
right, but they had another product, it's called Armor Shield, and I quickly read about it, and I don't even know what the weight of that one was.
Okay.
But they seem to have offered 2 or 3 different products.
What number was that, David? 2.6.2?
Well, he's on
12.
the older version. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Alright. I'm trying, like,
So I had
I'm
to
hearing all the
remember.
same references, but
So
finding
it's
it
under
under
the
different.
material section,
Okay.
which in your
Alright.
book is
2.5.
Oh, I'm
page,
sorry.
page
Okay.
4, page 5.
Okay.
Uh,
Alright, now we
Then
got
this
that.
is a question for the board, because on, the sealed proposals for the building sheet, by RSA, anything over $25,000 requires a, performance and payment bond. So we would be paying roughly, I'm gonna say 1% for a bond. And I think one of the options around this would be to set up the bid form as a price for the building, a price for erecting the building, whereas the town could buy the building and then hire the erector to put it up, because it's only on the subcontracted portion of the work that we'd need to be concerned. And I'm thinking, 1 or 2% of the price of this could,
Could be quite a bit.
yeah.
I'm fine with that.
So what are we looking for now? We're looking for a price for the erected building and a price
Well, a
for-
price for the building, as if the town
Yeah.
bought the building, and then a price to have it erected. I think
Okay.
your form kinda had that, but I just wanted to. What was it, on the next page, maybe? No. And under the description of the salt storage building, I'm assuming this is a typo, but someplace on D, it says 0 door openings of 15 feet by 15 feet in middle of 167 feet long side of building. I'm assuming that must have been someplace in there, boilerplate or something that copied inadvertently. It's on your notice to bidders.
Oh,
Oh, the notice of bidders.
Yeah, past that.
Okay, I removed that already.
Okay. Fee to confirm the 8 feet. Yes, it was on the bid form that I thought, well, maybe this is what you were looking at originally, was lump sum for the building and then erected per specs. I don't know if that's, although there's only one line for pricing, so maybe we should,
Yeah, I'm gonna break that out.
yeah, just break it
Yeah.
out. And that's all I had for comments. Other than grammatical type things that are.
So Peter, we should decide on the type of concrete block foundation you wanna use, so I can specify in there what.
I'm thinking even if we could give them on that sketch that was part of that RFP, even if you just sketched it right in there, what the block size, what the out to out is.
Yeah, that's, that's kind of a set drawing. I'm not sure it's gonna let me edit it. I tried to.
In a PDF?
Yeah, I didn't do it in PDF.
No.
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 Just do it
Oh,
in Word. So,
and that didn't get you frustrated, huh?
Should be able to get a drawing off of Graves. Concrete, I think that drawing is.
Yeah, theirs was the site I was looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I couldn't tell was, do they charge extra for that, V-groove in the block? Because they only had one price for the block.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, that other one looked nice.
Well, that's what I was going for, the V block. The one with the V where you can set it in, that way it keeps it slow.
Oh, no, I don't mean that. I mean on the face of it,
Oh.
it was scored to look,
Now,
you know.
the one I was looking at had a V on top.
Oh, that's
and
a-
block with seal.
Yeah, that's the ready block, I think they call it.
No.
It's keyed in? This,
Well, yeah,
Like the
ready
bottom
box.
one?
Yeah, this isn't the ready.
now?
box.
Okay,
I was going for cheap.
good. Salt
If I had your money, I'd go for
Hey, 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 hey.
Well, I can't keep that. Keep that, so, you know.
Any other questions on salt shed?
Good.
We good on that?
Yeah.
Just for the sake of time, Peter's time, I'd like to switch from the LED lighting RFP and let's talk
Front loader.
front end loader.
Tab 4.
Why don't you give the board the issue with the current loader that you have?
Okay. Current loader I got is 1997 Komatsu. It's got, close to 10,000 miles on it. It's a, they call it a quick connect, front hitch for the front bucket. When I first got hired, that quick connect, the hitch was bent. And I fixed it. And last fall, it got bent again. I brought it out to Clyde on Greenbrier, he fixed it again. Well, this time, he told me there would be no fixing it again because it's been heated. I tried to get a price of the quick connect, nobody give me a price, because the machine's so old, they don't make that kind of hitch for that machine anymore. But so right now, I'm renting a loader. They gave me I got a Datsun down there, a Datsun or whatever you wanna call it there. It's a 2014. It's got 1,984 hours on it,
How many hours?
1,984. The asking price was 69,890. They'll give us 5,000 for the Komatsu, so that brings it down to 64 something. Plus I rented it for a month, so $5,200 that would end up paying roughly around $5,900 for it. I gave Scott copies of some other loaders around the same size, same year and stuff. You're talking more money, more hours. If you go down and look at the machine, it still looks brand new for a 6-year-old machine.
Peter, in the paperwork that we have here, is that the 2014?
Yep.
So how did you get down to low 50s? This one says 69.
Yeah, they're gonna give us 5,000 for that.
Is that more valuable to us to auction it or
No, 'cause you won't get that much money for it.
no?
I think we learned our lesson on that one when
With what?
with the police vehicle. We got a couple $100 on that.
Yeah, the scrap prices were up, you would get more, but right now the scrap price is not more.
Okay.
And like I said, I rented it for a month, so
Yeah.
there's 5,000, so that'll bring us down to 59. The
Okay.
purchase price. And when it happened the second time, just for the heck of it, I got a price of a new cat. We were talking 150,000 plus. You know. The good thing about this, it doesn't have diff in it, so we won't be in the diff department for, it's just before diff started coming out in the equipment.
But what are our other options for other sources for equipment? Like where we bought that roller and trailer, would they have anything?
He didn't have anything.
Nothing. Any other places that,
I went on Trader
yeah,
online, that's where I got most of the prices, a lot of the dealers, New Hampshire posted the loaders on. You know, some were a lot worse shape, more money. more hours.
Can you just, do you have a copy of these here?
Yeah, this.
Can you just walk us through, like Chapel is what, 57? Oh, okay, that's a 2010,
Yeah.
and more hours.
So, and the,
7,154 hours on it.
and the loader that we have currently that's out of commission has 10,000?
Yes.
Yeah. Which I'm noticing some of the, like a lot of these are even close price wise to the one that we're renting. Already at that, around that 10,000 mark.
You know, then you have a 2012 Hyundai. so
Yeah,
For 1379 hours for 68,000.
but from a brand, say, is there one for easier maintenance, more readability for parts, availability of parts?
Well, the machine we got now has two dealers, one in Bow and one in Londonderry.
The Komatsu,
No, Dawson.
the Deuce, okay.
The only thing about the Honda is when you're dealing with Chapel, more money for parts and service. Then you got 202 equipment, and it's got 10,600 hours on it for 49,000. That's the high hour machine, 2011. We're already talking almost a 10-year-old machine.
What about capacity of these machines? Where
They're
are
all
they?
about the same.
All the same, okay.
2.5 buckets, yeah. Yeah, I tried to do everything compatible
Yeah,
for what the old one was. You know, the 202's got another one, John Deere, for roughly 78,000 with 4,800 hours.
yeah.
You know, that's not a bad looking machine. We're just talking more money.
Well, the case looks like a better looking machine
Yeah.
than that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's got 2,800 hours.
2,800.
It's got a 3-yard bucket on it, 2013.
Does the one that you have now have the quick connect?
Yeah.
And that's a 14?
2014, yeah.
I think the 14's a good deal based on the other information we have.
I agree. And you've been using it for a month or more?
Well, no, I've only been using this one for 2 weeks.
Oh, 2
They
weeks.
gave me a bigger machine because this one was out on loan
Yeah.
to another company before I had a chance to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave me a bigger machine with a 3-yard bucket on it, actually a 4-yard bucket. It's a DL4 300. You know, it's a nice machine, it's too big for what we needed it for.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it comes back on from loan, they verify it all good and all that before they, Send it out to us
Before
again?
we give them a check.
Well, I mean, that should be a condition of
Yep.
sale, is that. Do you have a checklist of fluids and services that should be done before we accept it?
They serviced it before we get it, but I'll double check.
I'm just trying to quickly, okay. I think at the end of 2019, not counting the money that's been put in at the March vote, we had $365,000 and change in the highway capital reserve. So that would still leave us with,
over 300,000.
yeah. And I think if we do this and don't allow them to get another piece of equipment for 20 years, we should be
won't be here.
While you still are here, what's the update with the 2 or 3 trucks?
They're all except for one's back in service. I got one in Donovan Springs, got 2 front springs in it.
Okay, and what was the damage cost on the,
I haven't got the bill on that yet. They told me we're not roughly 17,000. Then I had one I had to put a clutch in. And as he was putting the clutch in, it had exhaust leak. When he got into it, ended up being 2 broken studs in the back cylinder, so he had to take it all apart. Get all new gaskets and studs and exhaust pipe and stuff.
what year vehicle was that?
That's 2004. Wow. It's a 2014 year, but actually it was bought in 2013. So you're talking a 7-year-old truck.
Should those be needing clutches at that stage?
No, because 2013 has to have a clutch head. But
Yeah.
A lot of it's a drawback.
And how do we go about educating our employees on maintaining and operating these vehicles a little better?
Pretty much everybody can maintain them except for one. You know, Peter and I, we maintain most of them. We'll do brake jobs on them. But as far as clutches, I'm not getting too old for that.
No, but I mean,
Yeah, I know what
You know what I'm
service,
saying,
Peter
yeah.
in service.
Well,
not
and
only
also,
that, but
We'll get them in and,
operating it correctly.
well,
so we're not burning out the clock.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's no different than a car or a pickup truck
I
that
know,
if you,
but that truck's seen probably, seen 4 different operators before. The guy that's got it now had it. So each one of them just drives different. Actually, one of them that used to drive it worked for Vanguard now.
Do we need a motion?
and you're very, very comfortable with this one?
Yeah.
And what's the history, serviceability of the other loader that we have?
The Cat?
Yeah.
It's in service. We had it rebuilt January, February this year. Cost us $3,700 to get it fixed.
And that's what year?
It's 2005. And we paid technically the same amount of money, $68,000 for that.
But it was newer? When did we get that?
Oh, about 5 years ago.
So in 15, we bought a 10-year-old.
Yeah. That was at Chapels. And it had like 4,500 hours.
But that's sitting up at the landfill now
Yes.
for,
Well, we use the push the demo and we use the little gravel up.
any questions? Is there a motion?
Motion to expend capital reserve funds to purchase a 2014 DL 200 from Equipment East.
Second?
I'd like to just kind of amend that we be sure that part of the agreement is that it is fully serviced prior to the transfer of the sale.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Before you leave, Peter, have you had a chance after we met with the road committee to look at those 3 and get a measurement so we'll be able to put out a RFP?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay.
Well, I got the measurements of Lower Ashby, I got the measurements of Benny Hill Road. As a matter of fact, I got the I did the measurements last year, I just gotta sit down and come up with a price.
Yep.
That's the one we-
Yeah, that's the one we're gonna
Lower
reclaim.
Ashby, Benny Hill, Hubbard Pond.
Now, Hubbard Pond, did you or Garrett replaced the culverts?
Yeah.
There's still more?
Some of the crossroads got to be replaced, they're plugged. I think he put too small of a culvert across the roads.
Well, do we just supplement them? I mean, they're ADS, why would you bother pulling it out?
They're plugged, just leave them there, put another one beside it.
No, I'm thinking clean them out first and then put another one beside it.
I just don't deal with one bigger pipe. If I can save them, take them out, put them someplace else, like a driveway culvert or something.
Only, I'm trying to think, what do we got, 2 crossroads?
Out there,
Yeah?
I counted 6.
Pine and,
No, this is just Hubbard Pond. We doing Pine too?
no, you said at the crossroads. So I was thinking it's at the intersection.
Pine back towards
Yeah,
Timbertown,
Yeah.
6.
are you talking driveways?
Yeah, crossroads. Yeah,
What
to
are the
come
roads?
across the roads.
Oh, no. Okay, I was thinking you meant water coming down, say, Pine, at that intersection is where it was plugging.
No.
You're talking the ones under the road?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So 6 there to replace?
Yep.
Which, that shouldn't be bad. And what do you got on Benny Hill?
I think I got 10 on Benny Hill,
Mhm.
plus 2 3-footers.
And I will make another request, is I still haven't seen the one on Temple Road get raised yet.
Catch basin?
Yeah, if we can.
What was it that happened to that one? Is it lower school or is that the one?
Porter Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's plugged, it's gonna be replaced.
Okay. Yeah.
That's some of that pipe you see out here. is
Okay.
that.
Yeah. I just all of a sudden I saw we had a heave and then
Yeah,
and then I knew it must have been plugged because then I mean the water we had either rain or something. It actually washed some of the
lawn down.
yeah right across and it actually rutted into the
Skate-
the
skate
tar and
park,
everything.
Worried about that water running down the road. It's gonna get iced up, so I put some coal patch, so. we'll just
Yeah.
put it back in the catch basin.
Yeah. But yeah, it even rutted right through that coal patch on you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you guys finish that now or no?
haven't started yet. Plugging up, unplugging culverts, I get called on all the time.
And we shouldn't have to be calling you, right?
Which one plugged up? Did you call it?
Davis Village, it flooded,
Oh, did it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it does it all the time,
You know, people plow their snow and leaves,
Yeah.
go right in the hole there.
yeah. And same thing I'm noticing on Academy, where behind the church, you know, we've got that water crossing
Yeah.
there. But going up, we've got areas where there's pipe and then it's an open, and those were all plugged, and I'm like, geez, if we get, at first they were talking 2 inches of rain the
Wow.
other day.
Probably what plug is the one going across Academy, because water backs up that way.
It appeared it was flowing through when
Yeah,
I
but
looked,
usually your beaver plugs it up right there.
yeah, but I mean, it was open.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
not enough, probably enough, so it backed up the water going up Academy.
Does that happen every spring? Kind of like coming out of winter, like
It-
from the fall to
It
the,
just
like,
depends where, like another one was the one on Old Tenny Road at
Yeah, Temple.
Temple Road.
Yeah.
Whether has that been unplugged?
Yeah.
and then Collins Road.
Collins
Wow.
wasn't gonna replace that culvert that's sticking out of the ground.
Yeah.
There's a ledge that goes across there, so.
Which, is that on the
Might have to
Perry?
cut or a call, get a hammer.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, and I forgot to bring it in for you, Scott. Remember I told you I had a tax map that Joanne had done with me with a legend, and it has all of the town property identified, what is town property. And you know when we're talking about Collins Road at Perry, where that was town property?
Yeah, that little pie shape.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
donated by somebody, so, I thought that'd be advantageous when you look at what to do there.
Well, that, like we talked about, maybe seeing if we can get blank property owner to give us a little bit. So
Yeah, yeah.
come down with a T intersection.
You said 5,000 from the current rental goes to the purchase? And do you have the 200 now, or you have the
I
300?
had the 200.
The 200, okay.
I just got it last week.
So then he'll take it back and service it, and okay.
Or they may service it right here.
Any other questions while we got him here?
No.
You sure? Transfer station employee,
Yes.
we have an ad in?
No,
Can we get an
What?
ad in?
yeah,
Well, I had a guy that asked me about it Saturday.
Did you hire him?
Well, I told him to come see Scott.
No, you give me the application right then and there, Peter.
Yeah, but we gotta do background check.
yeah,
But,
Did he come see you?
no,
well, Rick knows who it is. I'll talk to Rick.
Yeah, okay.
Or if I worked here again this Saturday, I'll bring up an application. I figured maybe you work for me this week.
I was gonna offer.
Yeah.
I was gonna offer.
Just like plowing.
I got an offer for you. I'll work the transfer station, and I've got exhaust and manifold risers to replace on my engine. Which one you wanna do?
I like doing mechanical work. You show me what I have to do.
I was shocked to see Peter there last week.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, I was. He
You told me
surprised
that-
me.
You told me I never go up there. See, I ain't staying there all day for you.
You're right. Good night.
See you tonight.
The LED street lights. Has this changed since the one that you emailed
it,
him?
it has not.
Okay.
What I was trying to do is do a little research on, you know, the smart controls and whether it's something we wanted to consider.
Mhm.
So I came up with this Department of Energy document that talks a little bit about them, and I haven't honestly had a chance this week to read through it to see, you know, what the advantages may be to, you know, the way Hollis ended up bidding this is they asked for bids of units that were smart controller network ready lighting, so that they could always add the smart controls at a later date. And then they had the smart controls as an alternate if somebody wanted to bid that up front. And I'm just trying to understand a little bit more about what the advantage is of doing that, and whether we even need to make it a requirement, or we just ask for some standard type of fixture, non-networked, non-controllable. And, but honestly, I don't fully understand yet what the advantage is of having, you know, a networked or controllable lighting system.
Yeah,
So
I gotta
that's
admit, I wasn't, I
Yeah.
read of
Yeah.
it in there, but
Yeah,
what it does and how it controls it and what the benefits are.
right, well, it does save additional, when you can control them, you can actually save additional money on electricity, and I'm just trying to understand, how much significance that's gonna have, so that if we decide to go that route, or at least offer it as an alternate, we can then take a look at the price tag and try to figure out whether there's a cost benefit, to doing it that way. And if not, we go with the standard type of solution.
So currently, like, what controls them going on and off right now? Is it just
Photosynthesis.
Yeah, they
photosynthesis?
still- yeah. Yeah, that's all they have. But this technology, I mean, the implication is that you can actually control, you know, the brightness of them as well, so you can bring down the power consumption in some areas at certain times. And I'm just trying to understand just how, you know, what's involved in being able to do that,
Yeah.
and whether
Yeah.
it's worth.
Right, what is the upfront cost?
Well, that
Prohibitive, yeah.
complexity, I mean, if
Right.
it's gonna be, you know, something that's gonna be very complex to manage, then we just don't have a staff big enough to deal with all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's very simple that we can do, or that Peter can do, then we might wanna entertain it, but I just don't, it's a complex subject. The more I got into it, the more I realized I didn't understand any of it, so.
And sometimes when you add these other components, it kinda, you know, like the, more things could go wrong, too.
Well, that's true, but at the same time, we don't change our streetlights, you know, every few years. You know,
Mhm.
whatever we do, we're, you know, we're kind of gonna live with for 20 or 30 years or longer, right? So,
But the one thing we need to keep in mind now is that we are now will be the owners of the light fixtures.
correct,
So any maintenance or whatever that has to be done, it's on our nickel, not call Eversource to come out and fix it, change the bulb, whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and I'm glad you asked for, I'll get the information
Yeah.
about what it is, and then we can,
yeah, because we don't, you know, it might be something that's just more than we have the ability to manage, and, in which case we'll have to take a pass on that technology
and I don't know, did you speak with the gentleman from Eversource to see if
I
that,
have not,
I would probably ask him if it's
Yeah.
worthwhile, but more, do they give an incentive rebate if you incorporate that?
yeah, right.
And I'm gonna have to apologize, Scott, and I'll email it to you, but I had all of my comments, but it's on my laptop, it's not on here. I
Okay.
can't find it, and I'm like, oh, that's, I don't know if you guys had comments.
I did not,
Yeah.
because it wasn't quite ready, and I knew that there was missing some stuff that you had been looking at, so I didn't
Yeah.
really dive that far into it.
Can I just forward that to you and
Sure.
then,
Yeah, the other thing was, you also mentioned you had a more up-to-date street lighting inventory
yeah,
than what
well,
we had.
not a more up to date, it was the ones that we wanted to have changed. I thought I emailed that to you last week.
Okay, I didn't see it.
I can do it
Yeah.
again right now.
Yeah, you might have, but honestly,
Hey,
the volume
it's-
of email that's
I
coming in
think it's
right now
right
from
here.
Homeland
Yeah,
Security
yeah.
is,
Email is easy.
Now, like since we're on the subject of lights and power consumption, I know like lights down at the park and pool are the older style lights, and if we're owning the fixture, like is this just for street
Just street lighting.
lights? That's not, yeah.
Oh, maybe. Let's see. Maybe I do have it on here. Hang on. to you from home, that's on the laptop, the one with the, it's a list, it's probably only 8 or 10 light fixtures that we said, you know, either delete or add, in the
Okay.
locations where they are.
Okay.
Any new or old business?
Yeah, under tab 5, you'll see the quote from Gordon Services for landscaping and property maintenance.
And I presume, I talked to Peter, on this, I'm presuming this was the same price they gave us last year, or pretty darn close.
Pretty close.
One of the things that they had not listed on here, but that they take care of, and it should be listed though, are the, mulching and weeding at the town signs. The ones at, High Bridge and, what's the road to Peterborough? 124, 123, 124,
So High Bridge and 124.
yeah.
And not that they have, they linked the old town hall and the old schoolhouse. They said these two are combined for a total of 1,070, 10. There's zero lawn at the old town hall. The
front of the
town,
building,
no,
yeah. No,
no, the neighbor cuts that for us.
do they?
Yeah, when they cut everything else, because they got to use it to turn around to cut the rest of their lawn. It's literally like a 5x5 piece of grass, and they cut it.
The neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about
Have them
the,
remove it completely?
Well, they did. If I don't know. I mean, the old schoolhouse has a little bit more lawn, and I don't know what they do down the side or whatever. But the old town hall, I mean, I double checked last year when I saw that. He goes, no, they cut it. They cut it for us.
just point it out to them,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have them remove it if there's some. I mean, it may not be much, but if there's some removal, but yeah, they.
So keep the schoolhouse, remove the town hall.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll try to get an update so that we can make a decision on it next week.
I would entertain a motion now.
Yeah.
Just to, they've done a great job.
Yeah, they do a great
I
job. I just figured
Yeah.
anything that we can
Yeah.
save a couple bucks and use it somewhere else. Motion to accept Gordon's services for our property management.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No, they really do. They do a nice
Yeah.
job.
I mean, were you here last summer? When did you start?
No, I
September?
started September
September.
23rd.
I mean, they have a lady that comes here and just weeds
Yeah,
the flower beds and whatnot, and we've never had anybody pay that kind of attention to
yeah.
the thing. She digs, like, there's a lot of perennials out there, she digs them up, she goes, oh, I think, you know, should put some here, split it there, I mean.
Yeah, I think the only time we ever had some before that was when Jonathan was doing it. He used to take a nice amount of time and stuff, but then he got so busy doing when he got hired on full time with the
Oh,
town. But
well, we used to have, the firm out of Milford was doing the landscaping, Anapro, I
yeah,
think is the name, yeah. But they've done a great job, so,
were you able to find an electronic copy of that hazard mitigation plan for Lori to throw it up on the?
I think it's already on. up
Is it?
on the
Okay.
website.
I apologize. I should have checked before I asked.
Yeah. I think she said it's there somewhere already.
did the, police station flag go out yet?
It did not.
Okay.
And we'll try to get to that before the end of the day Thursday.
Okay, and Mr. Lowe for 11 Temple Road.
So, nothing new to update there, other than he is still committed to the project and said that he is not the one that listed that property for sale. And that he had his lawyer looking into that.
Okay. Did you send him the letter reiterating the terms?
Yes,
Okay, good.
and I sent him a copy of the original documents in deed.
Good. Anything else? Scheduled for non-public. Make a motion.
Motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A32.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.